Hey guys, Chris Graham here. I want to talk to you about an article in TapeOp. TapeOp is like a recording engineer magazine. It's this issue. This issue came out 2009, and there's an article about this guy Sufjan Stevens in here. This article is somewhat legendary because it sort of exploded all of our collective brains about what recording is, what it takes to make great music, and what it takes to record great music. Sufjan Stevens, if you haven't heard of him, is this amazing singer-songwriter. He writes these beautifully strange, sort of dark folk indie songs. He uses a lot of acoustic guitar and banjo and piano and horns. Very interesting songs, absolutely fantastic songwriter. He's really singular. There's not really anyone like him. In this article, it goes into Sufjan's process of how he recorded his first two records. And his first two records are absolutely beautiful. They're just a level of beauty that I'm not really familiar with in any other records I've ever heard before. And a lot of that is the weirdness of the records. Back in 2009, there was a lot of interest in Sufjan Stevens and how he made this incredible record. Here's the shocker. Sufjan Stevens did not record his records properly. So much so, this article sort of went viral back in 2009, sort of before things went viral, because people were blown away at how amazing his record was and how many mistakes he made when he recorded it. He did crazy things like instead of recording at 44.1K, which is CD quality, he recorded at 32K, which is, for any of you engineer types out there, just this sort of like, you did what? He also would do weird things like record with really, really cheap mics, and only cheap mics. He didn't, I think probably the most expensive mic he had was probably under $200. The other thing he did that just was mind-blowing is he would record in like an external recorder, one of these Roland, you know, it's like a mixing board with a recorder built into it. He'd record his tracks on there, and then he would take the headphone out of that recorder and plug it into the 1/8-inch input, that little like tiny headphone jack input on the back of a really bad old computer. And he would press record on the computer and play on the recorder and transfer his tracks one at a time, and then he'd line them up by hand and then mix on headphones. And I don't know anyone that doesn't think that this record sounds incredible, but I also don't know anyone that would ever be brave enough to copycat Sufjan's methodology here. Really, really, really bad recording technique, but a really, really amazing record. And what's amazing about this is it lowers the bar for those of you that have home studios that are trying to make your own records. You have better gear than Sufjan Stevens does. I guarantee it. GarageBand and anything is a better rig than what Sufjan Stevens used to record. If you guys haven't checked out the Sufjan Stevens article, I'm going to link to it in the description below. And for anyone that records records for a living, or for anyone that records records for fun, it's something I come back to, and I try to read this article at least once a year, just to remind myself that we don't even know what music is. We don't know why people like music, and even if you make all the mistakes you can possibly make when recording a record, it can still be a great record. That's freaking cool. I keep this copy right there at all times. It's a reminder to me that music is not primarily a technical thing. It's not this, oh, you need to make sure that you bias your microphones properly. It's not this nerdy tech thing. It's this beautiful artist thing. And even in the face of bad tech, even in the face of not knowing how to use your gear properly, you can still make a great record if you put music first and you don't procrastinate. You don't put off making great music just because your gear isn't good enough. So I'm just so thankful for this article because it really grounds me. I'm so thankful for TJ Doherty, who wrote this article, and for Larry Crane, who publishes TapeOp. If you're into recording and you haven't gotten your free subscription to TapeOp, you totally should. It's incredible. It's one of my favorite things on earth. So check out the article. I'll link below. And my hope is that as you read it, you take away this sort of sense of awe about how amazing music is, that it can transcend bad gear, bad technique, a lack of equipment. People are still able to make these beautiful, incredible records that millions of people have listened to and loved. So one more thing, guys, I have a free gift for you. If you are struggling to make mixes that you love, if you're struggling to make mixes you're proud of, I have something that I call the Mix Polish Quiz. And the Mix Polish Quiz is kind of like a personality test. You answer about 15 questions or so, and it's going to give you a profile and walk you through the things that probably are holding you back as an audio engineer, as a musician, as a mix engineer. It's really great. You can take it for free at mixpolish.com. That's mixpolish.com. Please let me know in the comments if you guys have any thoughts about Sufjan Stevens, if you have any thoughts about making great records with terrible gear. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.